I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Welcome everybody here to our September meeting. Next on our agenda would be to get to amend and or accept tonight's agenda. I don't have any amendments. Does anybody else?
Make a motion the agenda be approved as presented.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support for the agenda presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next, it's time for public comment. I don't believe we're gonna have any tonight, so we will move on to routine matters. Approve the August board minutes.
Motion.
Support.
We have motion support for the August board minutes. Is there any discussion on those? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Consider general fund invoices for payment. Matt?
I would like to make a motion to pay from the general fund a total of $226,736.10, and from food services $1,634.43.
Or we have motion support for our invoices for payment. Is there any questions on any of those invoices? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Reports and communications, myself, Karen just presented this paper here from the Department of Education, just congratulating Superintendent Mr. Acom and Board of Education on our passing of our recent millage.
Oh,
So, other than that, I don't have anything else. Superintendent.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the community for supporting our operational village. I don't think some people realize how much that helps us out, but not everyone, and how much that's needed. So big thank you to the community for that. Our test scores, some of you may have seen, have been released. They are no longer embargoed. This is from the test last spring. We will go into a deeper dive with you at the October board meeting, as we've not had much time to deep dive ourselves as a district. I know some of the schools have been working on it with the staff. But overall, pleased. Staff and students are doing well. We always have areas to improve on, but we also have areas to celebrate too. So, roofing project update. Weather did not help us out this past week. They're hoping to get more done than what they accomplished. But this week looks dry, and they'll continue to work on that. Begin working over the multi-purpose room and that roof there, and then on Saturdays working on the elementary school, the wing there. The loud parts, it can be distracting. It's not terrible. You just hear drills up there going. Staff have been great in understanding that, but we're making progress. Slower than what we had hoped, but the good news is we're getting new roofs. So, yep. We are going to suspend adding the drains in this year over the middle school gym, just timeline wise for that, and we'll look at doing that next summer for that. So, congratulations, if you guys have not heard, to Dave Cox. He is retiring effective October 1st. So he will be done October 1st, and they are working on an interim. I'm not sure if who that person is public yet, so I'm not going to say for that. So state budget, But thanks to Dave for all of his work, and all this that he's done for the local schools. And good luck to him in his next adventure. State budget, we still have not had any progress or much conversation on the state budget. The good news is the board's done a nice job with our finances. We're not as in dire need as some districts, but there may be a point where we have to look at some options as far as perhaps borrowing money or other things to continue going on. I am confident that they will have something in place for us. I've had experience before where they have not had a budget passed, but they have allocated dollars to districts, so districts could continue working and educating students. So, unfortunately, there is no progress being made yet. So, any questions for me? All right, thank you.
All right, principals. Mr. Wizard, would you like to?
Sure thing. Doing well in the elementary. We are in the middle of doing our fall assessments and figuring out where students are, how they're coming in this year, getting to know some of our move-ins. We sat down last week as title reading group and made plans for students for interventions and groupings and all that. So we just started all of those interventions today. And then I was working with Title Math today on scheduling the interventions and all that. So we're getting the data, we're using it. I met with teams last week for data meetings and looking at where things are at for each grade level. So we're busy doing all of that work. We have some upcoming events. We have Fun to Be Fit in a couple of weeks. We're kicking off Rambler Dads September 22nd. And then we have our annual family night scheduled for October 9th. So busy, but all good things.
Okay. Any questions for David?
So the kindergarten enrollment is low.
70.
Is that anticipated to grow, or does it usually grow, or?
We've gotten a few more kiddos since school started, but we also had some families that decided to go elsewhere, so that balanced out. But it's low everywhere in the ISD.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
So if I look at this right, we graduating about the same number that's coming in, right?
We did. We're a little lower kindergarten than those that graduated. But we came, to be honest with you, with the birth rates and our preschool numbers, we came in a little bit higher than what we were kind of anticipating. So.
Yeah, I feel like we were projected like 60 or so.
All right, thank you. Mr. Finstrom.
It has been a great start in the middle school. PBIS is in full effect. Our 6th grade has almost filled their reward bucket in record time, so we're getting ready to celebrate with them. I talked to a couple of our new students that we had move in, and it was just interesting to hear comments that they made of how much they enjoy our school. They said, you know, kids are so much nicer here, and the teachers actually care about me. And it just comments like that you hear that just kind of really warms you. You know, we have our struggles, we have our problems, but to have outsider perspective coming in and just sharing that, and it just reminds you why we do what we do and the effort we put into it. And to see that excitement with these kids is pretty cool. The middle school, we are up about 10 kids from where we were last year. And so we're tight, but we're doing great. Our testing season is in full effect. NWA is going on right now. That will go through September 19th. Youth Advisory is kicking off, and that's partnership with the health department. So we're getting some new faces added on for 7th and 8th grade along with high school. And Student Council, we are opening that up this week to get kids signed up to assume some more leadership roles in our middle school and take on some initiatives there. So we're excited to see the elections roll through.
Good deal. Any questions for Mr. Finstrom? All right, Ms. Becky.
We've also had a really good start in the high school. One thing I forgot to mention, we do class meetings the first week of school, and those went really well. I get to meet with the freshmen, sophomore, juniors, And then I have to mix up CTC, and grab seniors and juniors as I can, but those are a really nice way to kick off, the school year, set some expectations and clarify some things, so I'm glad that that is a tradition that's been able to be upheld. I wanted to thank Mr. Murphy for NHS induction ceremony. It was very nicely done. He does such a good job with that. And then put in a plug for blood drive. He's setting another goal. I think that's it for that. I apologize for the lateness of the ELL. Did you get to see that?
Yeah.
I just wanted to share how the kiddos did. We had a really good year. If you look at the exits, we haven't had that many kids exit ever. So that's really exciting to us. We still try to support them. We still check in with them even if they've exited, because just because they've exited doesn't mean they don't still need the support. But we were really proud of that. That was a really good number for us.
Hey Becky, could you explain what you mean by exited?
Oh, yes, sorry. So they take the test and they have to get a certain score. And if they get that score, they're actually considered exited from ELL program. So they don't really receive Kim and Maria's services anymore. But we make sure to touch base with them because we still feel like that's appropriate. So that's what exited means, yeah, they passed.
Would it be fair to say that they're like on consult?
Yeah, good way to
So we'll check in
yeah.
with them.
Yeah, and adding Taylor now this year is even another person to keep in touch with them. So we're really grateful for that. Another person to keep an eye out on grades and test scores.
Have we noticed any decrease in attendance or engagement or anything in the current climate we're in? Okay, good.
No, we're pretty status quo.
Good.
Yeah, good, yep. Yep.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. All
Yes,
right.
yes.
Any questions for Mrs. Rosenbaum? Thank you. Our business manager, Taylor.
Not a whole lot to update on from the report, just a few highlights. We have an audit meeting this week with Derek to go over the audit, and he'll be presenting at the next board meeting in October. And we just have a lot of reporting for the state we're doing right now. We have a couple of special education reports due this month, and then the next big one will be working on the FID, which is basically us getting the state our financial statements from the audit. So that's really what we're working on right now.
Okay, do we have any questions for Taylor? All right, thank you. Committee reports. Building and Grounds Committee did meet since our last board meeting, and the main topic was the city water situation. Did talk about the pouring bids a little bit. Briefly talked about our facility plan. I think that's about it that we talked about. The roof. The roof, yes. Progress, slow progress. But yeah. Other than that, I don't think we had any other committee reports since our last meeting, so. MASB update, anything?
I got a couple of things just to update you on. This is kind of, first July started our new year, and so our first official board meeting in the new year will be a week from Friday, on the 18th September, so I'll be going down there. I've been put on the executive committee and on the resolution and bylaws committee. Resolution bylaws is kind of a, yeah, whatever, not the most exciting to sign up, but anyway. Legislatively, you know, some of the things that our lobbyists are still talking about, the phone issue is still buzzing around Lansing. It's not a dead issue. I don't know where that's gonna land. And something else that continues to buzz around is a mandatory delayed start, a later start time for schools. That's still alive. I think that kind of gave rise or gave birth in the Lansing School District. It came up at our MSB board meeting a couple times ago, but that seems to still be out there. So what that ends up being, I don't know, it might just, kind of suspect it might just go away, but I don't know.
I'm sorry, Kevin, when you say delayed start time, you mean start of the day?
Start of the day,
Not start of the school year.
Yeah, but there's a certain time, you can't start school before a certain time.
Oh.
So,
Some districts start at like 7:30.
What's that?
Some districts start at like 7:30.
yeah, I think the only time I've heard thrown out there is maybe 8:30. And I think it would be kind of a mandatory thing, which doesn't make sense to me, but.
That's what I heard, high school starting, not being able to start till after 8:30.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a kind of ground level conversation. Right?
Yeah, I don't think it's probably gonna go anywhere, but it's out there. I just wanted to share with you, MESB's legislative priorities, and I apologize if I've done this before, but just there's 7 priorities that they're gonna focusing on this year. One is more equitable funding. That's kind of a DOS statement. I mean, that's every year. Mental health is school safety. Again, obviously is at the top of their priority. They're very interested yet in the infrastructure study that the state did, I think 2 years ago now. They did an infrastructure study in hopes that they might be able to do some grants for updating infrastructure. When they found out it was gonna be up in the billions of dollars, everybody's kind of backed off. I don't think there's gonna be much coming through that. It's just too big a number. They want to specify that the school aid fund is only for pre-K to 12 grade education. Along with that opposition to any private school vouchers, anything like that, they are gonna take a strong stand against. Number 5 is reducing amount of standardized testing that's required. They would like to see some of those streamlined, and 6th number is they want to do some work on state-based programs and modify certification requirements in hopes of increasing our teacher availability, just doing some streamlining on some of those requirements and that kind of stuff. And the last one, which this has been around for a couple of years, supporting legislation that puts the school academies and the management companies on an equal level with our public schools, holding them accountable, increasing the transparency, kind of figuring out where the money goes in that situation. So that's a number priority also that they have. So just keep you up to date on that. Some upcoming events on the 22nd, which I think is next week or the week after that. MESB is gonna have an advocacy day in Marquette, which doesn't mean a lot to us, but it's a good sign because they're finally realizing that there's people that live north of Lansing. And so hopefully that'll continue, that we can draw some more attention to the northern half of the state. And then the fall conference coming up on the 23rd and through the 26th in Traverse City. I think we have a couple participants in that I'm aware of anyway. So that's going along good. My term on the MES Board of Directors will end in March of 26. The nomination and election function will probably start in a month or so. So I'll be getting more information on that. Just want to relay a pretty unusual experience I had this past week, or this past month. My daughter is a board president in Harrison, and their superintendent was in the running for the state superintendency. And so her and I went down for the first round of interviews. They interviewed seven students, administrators, and we sat through, not all 7 of those, but it was a very neat experience to see the State Board of Education function, or not function, depends on how you look at it. And interesting, she was selected as one of the 3 finalists. So we went back the next Tuesday again and observed the interviews, and she was not selected. There was a superintendent of Dearborn Public Schools was selected, and it was interesting to see the board function. It's a political board. There's six Democrats and 2 Republicans, and that became quite evident at times. But they pretty much went with history. They interviewed I think a lady from Virginia, the lady from Harrison, and then the doctor from Dearborn. They went with the traditional big school superintendent. Interestingly, he's not a resident of Michigan. He lives in Ontario, Canada. So,
Wow.
so anyway, he's in the process now of establishing Michigan residency, which kind of blew my mind. But I don't know how long he's lived there, but his official residency was Ontario, Canada. But anyway, he fits the traditional mold of a big city superintendent. So, but it was a very, very interesting process to sit. The political effects of the board was very obvious, like I said, but it was interesting to see him function. So we'll have a new superintendent, I think first week in October, something like that, assuming he becomes a resident of Michigan.
Correct. Wow, that was interesting, Ken.
Yeah. It was interesting, the only time it was mentioned during the interview process is one of the Republican board's members brought it up. He was shut down very quickly. So it was something they obviously didn't want to talk about, or, and then the official transcript of the meeting states that the question of residency never came up. So interesting, that portion of the discussion was not in the official transcript of the meeting either. So, whatever, I wouldn't anticipate big changes. We have a state superintendent from a large urban district.
Okay.
I think the thing that may have killed Harrison's ladies was her closing statement was, it's about time we start doing things differently and choosing big city superintendents. That was her closing statement to the board. So that part didn't increase her chances any. She said what she thought.
Yep. All right, well, thanks for all that information, Ken. We have one discussion item on our agenda. Scott's gonna talk about elementary flooring.
Yeah, so if you recall last fall, or actually, yeah, it would have been last fall, we went out to bids for roofing and flooring for our sinking fund dollars in the elementary school. And when they came back, we were saddened that we could not do both at the same time. So through the sinking fund committee, and I would say the property committee or building and grounds committee, and kind of the direction from what I picked up from the board is that we would look at elementary flooring this next coming year. So just letting you know, we're planning on after this meeting going out to bid for elementary flooring again. We'll look for that. In hindsight, it was probably a blessing because we have made a couple of changes to the flooring. Our flooring plans, putting more carpeting at the entrances to try to prevent slip and fall than what we had originally planned. We also have the Optima flooring in the middle school hallway that we have heard really good things about, and you kind of doing case studies on it in the hallways and stuff. But it was interesting during the open house when it was hot and muggy and there's a lot of people, all the wax floors were getting slippery and moist, and that floor did not. But it's also one that we don't have to spend man hours waxing and all of that stuff. So just going out to flooring bid coming up, and the board will have to vote to approve that. And then we'll also look at doing the abatement bid as well for that flooring, that small section of the building that, again, the asbestos is in the mastic. We have to have that abated as well, so.
Okay, any questions on the flooring project? Okay, moving on to action items. Letter A, Footlighters SpongeBob Sunday performance, September 21 at 2 p.m.
Make the motion.
Support.
We have motion support for the Footlighters Sunday performance. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? B, United Night of Worship Sunday performance, November 2 at 6 p.m.
Motion. Support.
Motion support for the United Night of Worship. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alright. C, Landing Dance Nutcracker Sunday performance, November 23 and December 7 at 2 p.m.
Motion.
Support.
Motion support for Landing Dance, 2 Sunday performances. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. D, new hire, Laura Troyer, parapro.
Motion. Support.
Motion support for Laura. Any questions?
Elementary.
Yes, yeah, replacing.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? E, 7th grade volleyball coach Susan Maloney.
Motion.
Support.
Motion and support for Susan to be our 7th grade volleyball coach. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alright. F, medical day addendum for administrators, director contracts. This is something that we have previously discussed and talked about.
So motion.
Support.
Motion support. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. That concludes our action items. Public comment, seeing none, I don't think we'll have any. Anything from the board? Questions, comments on anything?
I'd like to suggest, in light of the state budget fiasco they have, I think I'd like to see some communication from our board to our legislators, urging them to get this thing settled. There's no reason why this can't be settled, and I think we need to speak out to our legislators, senators and representatives, to let them know that we think it's time to get this behind us. I brought this along, and I'm sorry I forgot. This is an article that MESB put out, and I'm gonna pass it around. It's entitled, "Why Does It Take So Long?" And this is not in any way defense of what they're doing, because it's inexcusable, but, you know, there's a lot of blame to go around, but I think as a school and as a board, we should communicate to them, that this is not okay. And we can be kind and whatever, but, you guys want a copy, Jane, you have one. But I think we can speak out and say, you know, it's time to get this behind us. So I'd like to see some communication from our board to that effect.
As a whole or personally or?
What's that? As a whole. As a whole. Yeah, I think that from the board would be just, first of all, telling them that, you know, we are watching and we're waiting, and I think it's time that we speak out to say this is not okay.
You happy to draft a letter for everyone to sign?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we draft a letter to our state legislators, urging them to get the budget passed as soon as possible.
Okay.
Support that, or we just gonna do it?
What's that?
I think we can just take a consensus.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's, yeah,
I just think
I
we need,
support us doing that as a, like, it's just a,
I think we need to speak out.
that'd be a good idea.
I'm good with it.
It's a good idea.
And I have something on another note, you guys see the Packer game?
I saw some guy with a cheese hat on and drop off. I thought that was really odd.
Sorry. It's been a couple of years since I've been able to do that.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, exactly, right?
We're
I was like, what is he wearing? Love it.
It's a cold morning, man.
It was cold,
It made me smile. I was like, whatever. Oh, funny. We deserved it.
On that note, I motion we adjourn.
Support.
Alright, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.